In its bid to fight cable theft, City of Tshwane says it has increased fines for electricity theft and illegal connections to 200,000 rands for individual and household accounts and 10 million rands for business accounts. The DA's Chief of Staff in the City of Tshwane, Griffiths, says criminal charges will also be laid. He joins us now via Zoom to unpack this. A very good morning to you, Jordan, and thank you so much for joining us. So how confident are you that this will deter criminal activity?
Good morning to you, Morena, and to Faith, and good morning to your viewers. So the City of Tshwane is really taking a zero-tolerance approach to cable theft. You just indicated our fining system, which we have now tabling at our budget next week, which is going to make a sizable difference. You may recall we embarked on an aggressive revenue collection campaign in the beginning of the year called the Tshwane Yatima campaign, and that exposed a number of things in terms of electricity theft in the city. Number one was that there was a high frequency of electricity connections, both in residential households, but also with businesses. More so, when we disconnected a lot of places, we found that within a week or so, they had been reconnected. And some of those reconnections were quite advanced, indicating that these folks were well informed of how the electricity infrastructure in the city works. So we're going to issue a far stricter fining system, which is very easily administrated, because the moment that we identify that there's an illegal connection, we conduct a RIP, which is that we physically remove the electricity infrastructure that allows you to get electricity, and then we load the bill straight onto your account, and it's there indefinitely until it's paid. And so we expect that that's going to make a sizable difference in terms of electricity theft. I mean, your question in particular mentioned cable theft. We've allocated about 10 million rand there towards supporting our cable theft unit. We're working closely with the provincial government that have introduced dedicated task teams, which are going to be working 24/7 to combat cable theft and also theft of infrastructure. Not a problem that is unique to Tshwane. Unfortunately, it is a problem that is plaguing particularly the big metros. But I think it's also plaguing a lot of local municipalities as well.
Where were the fines sitting initially, Jordan?
So I must be honest with you, Marina, I didn't check what the actual value of the fines were beforehand, but most certainly I think the business fines, and I need to check this, I think the business fines were in the range of about a few hundred thousand. They could have been possibly 200 or 300,000, and the residential fines were, I think, at about 30,000 rand. So we've sizably increased them. We've really gone quite aggressively in our approach. The business fines most certainly are at 10 million rand, and this is because you've seen that there's a large scale of theft in that space, which we need to act harshly against. Because, I mean, you know, if you have a lawful electricity connection or not. Yeah. It's very easy to tell. Generally, it doesn't look like it's been installed by a City of Tshwane electrician, or something has been bypassed or changed, or you've tampered with your meter, because the residential fines may well also apply to any meter tampering as well. So we're going to take a zero tolerance, and once we're through with our budget, once we passed our budget, we will then begin implementing them, and we'll most certainly increase our revenue, I assure you, as we start leveling the fines.
How bad is the cable theft and illegal connection situation in Tshwane? I mean, are you able to give it a value, monetary value? How bad is the situation right now?
Yeah, so it's actually something we're still quantifying, but we do track. There are two indicators that you track for losses. The one is water losses, and the other one is electricity losses as a percentage of your overall distribution. And our electricity losses sit around the 24% range, which we are gradually trying to get down. So that means almost a quarter of all electricity that is being distributed through the city is being lost. A lot of that may be because of distribution faults on the lines, but a lot of that is driven by illegal connections and theft. And that also has a monetary value. I couldn't comment on it now, to be honest with you, but it is something we're quantifying, because we want to do more publicity around the cost that illegal connections have in the city.
That Tshwane Yatima initiative, you know, that it sent, you know, the city, the province into a bit of a frenzy, you know, wondering, businesses at least and homes were wondering, am I going to be next? How successful was it? Because you guys went every single day. You were making sure that you are making businesses and residences accountable. How successful was it?
Yeah, so I mean, we managed to raise about 700 million rand in revenue in the space of a few weeks, which was deeply significant, particularly for our financial situation. We also saw significant uptick in regular payments, but we've also noticed that a few people most certainly have not come to the party. Part of our new budget, and in the budget speech, MMC Alderman Sutton indicated that we will be granting people a month amnesty before we embark on another effectively aggressive revenue collection campaign. And in the last few months, we've been putting more resources together to expand our ability to conduct disconnections. One of the areas which can be quite difficult to do disconnections in is the residential household area, because some areas can be hotspots. And so to do that, you need to have comprehensive multidisciplinary teams, because they can face resistance from some communities that may have facilitated a number of disconnections. So that most certainly is going to be part of our strategy going forward. Tshwane Yatima is not over. We will most certainly be rolling out a more aggressive campaign towards the middle half of the year again. We are constantly disconnecting now anyway on an ongoing basis. We just haven't been naming and shaming people as much as we have previously.
Do you find that to be effective? Do you feel that there perhaps could be a different approach to how you get your money back, or how you get the people who reside and work within Tshwane to, toe the line and do things legally? Do you feel that being aggressive about it is the only way, because that's how people learn, that's the language that they understand, or you could perhaps do it differently?
I do not think we could do it differently at all, to be frank. I think we have embedded cultures of non-payment and that exist in some parts of our city and in parts of the country, in fact. And I think we have challenges where a lot of people assume that some of these services should be free, and that they don't need to pay for it, and that someone else will pay for it, and someone else is paying for it. Law-abiding citizens who are paying their electricity and paying their rates are subsidizing theft when individuals are choosing to bypass our systems or our billing systems and illegally connecting themselves to the grid. So we are going to have to take a far stronger stance, and the best way to do that is to hit people in their pocket or turn their lights off and physically remove their ability to have electricity.
All right, Jordan, all the best with your campaigns. I imagine the people of Tshwane are probably sitting there watching this and thinking to themselves, well, yeah, they're coming for us too, so we better get ourselves in check. That is the Chief of Staff for the DA in the City of Tshwane, Jordan Griffiths.